everyone, so I have a reading roundup. I decided that I would only pick 2 of the books I've read recently because the other ones are going to go in a different video because the other ones were hugely disappointing, and then one of the other ones is just like a big deal and I want to do a whole video about it, so bleh, 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 bleh. Anyway, these are the 2 books I'm going to review. I don't even know why I should review them. I'm going to try to review them in a different way because they're really famous and I don't have anything like amazing to say about them. Yeah, anyway, so let's get started. The Bluest by Toni Morrison and Possession by A.S. Byatt. Let's start off with The Monster, meaning not monster at all, The Bluest by Toni Morrison. I just had the desire to read Toni Morrison. I have a really good friend who loves Toni Morrison, and I went, I'm just gonna read it. For a while, about a month and a half, I was like, blah, young adult, blah, everything, blah. So I was like, I'm gonna read Toni Morrison, and I did, and I really didn't enjoy it because I don't think you can enjoy Toni Morrison because it's like, oh my god, this is so sad. But I definitely found it interesting and fascinating and deeply upsetting and beautiful and all of those things that you think about when you think about Toni Morrison. If you don't know what The Bluest is about, it is about a town in Ohio. I don't know how to describe it, I'm trying to think. It is about basically like a young girl, a young woman, a young girl. She's like 14, 15. And some other people that's in her life. It switches perspectives, and it's about class, and it's about race, and it's about all these like terror, like abuse, and it's just amazing and like heart-wrenching and great, and just gonna make you just feel lots of things, and also go like, my life is really good. Like, it puts your life in perspective. Anyway, it is set in the 1920s. I can't remember when it's set. I read it a while ago, so I'm trying to jog my memory. But it's really short, so that's just an incentive to read it. But my thoughts on it. Anyway, when I was going into it, I thought, this is going to be amazing. It's Toni Morrison. Actually, I don't even know if I had that active thought. I went, yeah, okay, this is Toni Morrison. I feel good about reading this. I came out of it feeling weird and disconnected. And that can happen to me when I read a book that is so different from my own life, and I'm incredibly privileged. I am a white female. I'm a middle-class white female. I grew up in an area that's intellectually stimulating. I live in a university town. I have a lot of privilege, and The Bluest kind of puts things in perspective about these like big issues in your life. So it's hard for me to really fully connect with it because I haven't struggled that much. I've struggled definitely in my own way, and I'm not discounting anyone who struggles as a middle-class white girl, but it's a different kind of struggle that these characters face than what, I, as, like I said, a 19-year-old white girl faces. Anyway, I'm saying white girl a lot. I'm gonna stop doing that now. Who am I? But you know what I mean, maybe. But yeah, this book was incredibly beautiful, though, and I definitely felt like it taught me something about those issues, and it taught me something about abuse, and made me understand, and definitely gave me a really great perspective, which is what a good book should do, and a book written by Toni Morrison you expect to do. So, The Bluest, pretty dang good. If you want to get into Toni Morrison, this is the only one I've read by her, but everyone said, like, The Bluest is kind of a good entry point. I don't know. That's what I heard. So, that's why I picked it. People were like, Beloved is really good, but it's crazy. Anyway. Just made Possession fly. Possession, a romance. This is a flippin' ugliest cover. It's the movie tie-in edition from 2002 that the Rotten Tomatoes score is like 0.0. But yeah, this is a pretty famous novel. It was written in the 90s. It was published in the 90s. It's set in the 80s in London. Well, set in England. It was it won the Booker Prize, so it's a big deal. This book is about 2 scholars in modern-day England in the 80s trying to unearth the relationship between 2 pretty famous poets in the Victorian era. And it is disappointing. This book disappointed me. I liked it a lot, but it also really disappointed me. First of all, this is a big book. I mean, it doesn't look that way, but it's over 500 pages. And it's dense. It's not like big words. It's like, yeah, you're reading. And there's lots of letters in this book and poetry that A.S. Byatt wrote that's set in that's like supposed to be written by Victorian writers. So yeah, I read it pretty quickly. I read it in a couple days, which surprised me. But in general, I was expecting it to be like a grand romance. I was kind of in the mood for reading something that was going to be really, like, kind of just dramatic and romantic and just kind of, like Pride and Prejudice-esque. And it wasn't like that at all. So that's something I would say. If you're looking for like a grand romance, it isn't like that at all. It's really about these scholars, and it's about academia, and it's about what you do with information that other academics don't have. And it's a really interesting look on that. I grew up in academia. Like I said, I live in a university town. My mother's a professor. I have a lot of my family who are professors. And so it was interesting because it felt true to what I understand of that world. It's a good book, and it's beautifully written, but it's also incredibly dense, and I definitely skipped through some of the poetry and crap that was like a million pages long, and you won't miss anything if you skip that. Just spoiler alert, not spoiler alert, tip alert, you won't miss anything if you skip some of that poetry, because honestly, I don't like Victorian poetry, and it's not even real Victorian poetry. I don't know. This book is good. I think I gave it like 3 or 4 stars on Goodreads. I enjoyed it, but it didn't leave a lasting impression on me. It didn't really make a huge difference in my life. So that is my reviews. I hope you enjoyed it.